Welcome again to Eminence TV Live, our weekly rundown of tournament cEDH and what's going on in the cEDH community. I'm Scoots, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, the inimitable Jamaican dude, aka Ashani, aka Jamaican dude for playing with power. How are you, my friend?
Swell. How are you, Scott?
Good. Thanks for asking. We're also joined by a very special guest, top 4 finalist of Mox Masters February. Hello.
Hey guys, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
We'll talk more with Memo in about 5 minutes, but for now, we'd like to thank our sponsors Moxfield and the Epic Storm, without whom this would not be so amazing. If you're enjoying Eminence content and would like to see more, please consider subscribing here on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to one channel a month for free, and we'd love if you'd consider using that on us. Also, a thing that I took out of the script was the Patreon a couple weeks ago, and that's because our Patreon has been closed. But today, our answer to it has been risen like the phoenix from dust. The Eminence Marketplace is now live at eminencemarket.com. From there, you can grab Eminence merch, playmats, and also join the new Eminence membership program. There are different levels of memberships, and each thing helps support the programs of both cEDH University and this very channel. So it would be so appreciated if you would go there and sign up for a membership now or later. But now is better. EDH.events is in beta, but aims to catalog all cEDH and EDH events tied to Command Tower. Eminence profiles are a feature of Command Tower, and they are competitive player profiles that list your wins and loss ratios based on any event you've participated in that was run through the Command Tower software. So if you wanted to, you could say, if someone said to you, oh, well, I don't think you're a very good cEDH player, you could say, well, please show me your Eminence profile. I only listen to people with win rates of 40% or higher. You could do that. Scoreboard. Point to the scoreboard.
Yeah.
What's up, Ashani?
Yeah, I was going to say point to the scoreboard.
Yeah, you point to the scoreboard like a boss. You point to the scoreboard. I would like to now tell you about some upcoming Eminence dates and info if everybody's ready for it, and I know you are. Punt City 2, March 24th through the 26th, is returning to sunny Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. That is rapidly approaching. It is less than 20 days away. I'm going to be there, as is the Jamaican dude, as is another surprise guest who will be a part of the casting team. And very, very excited to get this going. This is going to be the best Eminence coverage yet, and will be the example for cEDH coverage to follow. I'm sure of it. July 29th through the 30th, we have the Cookout. That's in Atlanta, Georgia. And you should go there, because I'm going to be there, and we can have Waffle House together. And I think that's pretty much the reason. And there's cEDH. There's a cEDH event there. Yeah, where you can win huge prizes. And then September 29th to October 1st in San Jose, California, we have Windmill Slam, which is our return to the sunny Silicon Valley of California. Sure to be a real heater. Another thing that I'd like to take a moment to shout out is Riches to Rags, which is a competitive Pauper Commander tournament with scaling prizes up to $1,000 at 64 players. They are having a free Japanese Strixhaven set box giveaway, and it's happening at the German beer hall venue Brauhaus Schmitz in Philadelphia. Memo, did I say that right?
Lovely.
Oh, excellent. March 12th at 11 a.m. using the Command Tower software, so it's going to be run extremely well. Speaking of Command Tower, we talked about it a little bit before, but now you should know that it's live for shops and TOs globally to use, like this Riches to Rags tournament. Memberships go from $5 and up a month. Shop partnerships are live. Shop partners sponsor a player or players in the main Eminence events. Shops purchase their entry and hold a cEDH event at their shop, with the winner getting the sponsored ride to Silicon Dynasty, for example. We reserve 30 tickets for shop partners in an effort to bridge the gap between large-scale event systems like ours and LGS-level scenes, supporting the community and its player bases everywhere. Now I have this thing in my notes that says, I am joined by the most handsome German cEDH player since Raikkonen retired, Memo. Memo, can you tell everyone a little bit more about yourself and where they can find you on the internet?
Yeah, surely. Thanks for having me again. So my name is Memo. I live in Munich in Bavaria, which is a beautiful part of Germany in Europe. I've been playing Commander since Ikoria, so not that long ago, and started cEDH like a year after Ikoria release, so I think it's 2020, I'm not sure. You can find me on Twitter or on Discord. It's @_memo_4302 on Twitter, and just memo #4302 on Discord.
Excellent.
If you have any questions regarding anything cEDH related, or just want to talk live, shoot me a DM.
Memo, one of the most calming voices in the cEDH scene, for sure. And a thing that you should experience is him playing a cEDH game with his brother, because they have a wonderful, happy dynamic.
Not always.
Not always, but sometimes.
The last time we played.
Well, sometimes the opposite of the wonderful, happy dynamic is indeed similarly entertaining.
Yeah, that's how it is between brothers, right? Sometimes it's just a rivalry, and sometimes it's getting close to each other.
Yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. Memo is so based in the chat, and Tainted MTG saying, Beard Gang. Memo?
Yes, Tainted. You got it. You understand how it's done.
Beard Gang. It just doesn't come. I tried. Doesn't work for me. Connor in the chat saying, Holy Memo, can I have that beard, please?
Yes, come over here, Connor. I give you some.
We have Father Gang in the chat, and then also a question to start it out. Who's the better Magic player, you or your brother?
Oh, okay, that's a tough one. So, I think Robin has the brighter future because Robin is like 10 years younger than me. I think I'm already a bit old, so he's definitely the prodigy. But currently, I think I'm slightly ahead. But that's also the reason. One of the reasons is he really loves his Kinnan deck. So he spends a lot of time playing Kinnan.
Kinnan brewer, indeed.
Yes, he's also like an admin on the Kinnan Discord, and he plays he has all Kinnan archetypes sleeved up and ready to play.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time playing like different meta decks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm a bit more experienced how to play against some decks because I played them myself.
All right, hard question right out of the bat. What's the best deck? What's the best deck?
Oh, right away, huh? Actually,
right away.
I need to expand this question because this is not the question that we normally ask. It's what are the top 5 decks in any order?
Sure.
Okay, so at the Eminence Invitational Part 2, Jamaican Dude clapped me out of the finals on turn 2 with Roxai, so that's definitely one of them. It has to be one of them. Then I think it's gotta be Najila, because Kevin from Sadnos clapped me on Najila at the Chaos event. So I think Najila's also up there. TNK has to be up there as well. It's threatening every game if it does its thing. So those are for me the top 3. Another deck I wanna highlight, which you should not underestimate, has to be Rocco. I think Rocco is definitely scary, and I think there's a lot of brewing space left. There's the food chain Rocco. I've seen Hulk Rocco, basic Kiki Rocco, Dockside Rocco. I think there's still a lot of stuff to evolve, and if there are newer prints, I think the deck can only get better. If you have a Court of Calling in the command zone, is pretty good. And the 5th deck is probably still Vinota, although Vinota has been kind of calm, but they got some decent prints, right? The Soulless Jailer and the Phyrexian Mother of Runes. I think that's also
Yeah.
going in Vinota. So there have been some prints lately.
Is
Yeah.
there
So let's see.
is there any love in your heart for recent Playing with Power Mox Masters January winner Godo? Or
So
perhaps the last two Chaos Tournament winner Tevish Krom?
true. So I think the meta is super healthy, right? I think any deck can win, no matter which color combination. That's what I think. So, but if you ask me which deck I would play to make consistent top 16 cuts, it would be one of the 5 decks I mentioned. But you can, if you have a good day, if you have a good list, if you have like analyzed the meta, what to expect, I think you can really win with any deck. I think the meta is that healthy. And that's what the tournament results show, right?
Yeah.
Goro won, Kalia won, Najila won, Roxai won. So I think the meta is super healthy, and I really love that.
I don't know if Roxanne has called a dub yet, but
You did.
that's a private server. That doesn't count.
That doesn't
That
count.
doesn't count. Nobody knows about
Okay,
that.
so only
Come on.
30 people, right? Sub 30 people.
Exactly, sub 30
that's true.
people. It's
You know, when
bunch of
Ashani won
no-names,
that,
right?
though, I did
no name there.
I did surprise him with a tournament winner interview after that.
Yeah, that nobody showed up for, so it didn't matter anyways.
There was enough people here to see that it happened. Trust me.
But anyways,
We got the big question out of the way early.
we got the big question out of the way early.
Sean not interested in burying the lead this evening.
No, not really.
Stay tuned, though. We're not done yet.
We're not. Exactly.
I have a very important question for you, and that is, going in to Mox Masters February, you made a decision on what deck to play. For those who did not watch the coverage and have been living under a rock for the last few weeks, what deck did you play, number one? And number two, what was the driving factor in your choice to play that deck?
Okay, so I played a bunch of online tournaments the month before. I played in the January Mox Masters. I also played in the last 3 or 4 Chaos events. And in Chaos 6, I top 4'd with a Najila and actually lost to another Najila, which played super well, Kevin from Setnos, as I already mentioned. And I felt pretty good about the list. I made some tweaks and brought the list to Mox Masters January, where I didn't make the top 16 cut. I was like, I think 25-ish, something around that. But still had like, I made some misplays, and I definitely did not feel like I should progress or make the top 16 cut. So it was super reasonable because I made some mistakes. It wasn't one of my good days, but I did not feel like it was the list's fault, when you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So more like it was players' fault. So that's why I also like tweaked the list a bit, and yeah, I brought it back, and it performed pretty well.
Nice.
So you did your research, you did your play testing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about any tech that was in your list that might not have been floating around in other Najila lists?
So I like one card I have really been loving, but yeah, it's Archivist of Ogma. I know people are sussing me out about it because they're like, "This is
Sean just
such
did,
a
actually.
bad
I
card."
just watched him do it.
Yeah, somebody told me like, if TNK doesn't play it, you shouldn't even consider it because you're 5 color and stuff like that. I can only tell you, it won me the top 16 game single-handedly. I mean, I curved from Esper into Archivist into Ranger Captain, but I untapped without my Ranger Captain and like 14 cards in hand.
Yeah.
It was Chaos 6, I think. So like Archivist for me always performed.
Mm-hmm.
At the top 16 game in the Mox Masters, I had an Oracle win where Archivist became kind of tricky, but other than that, it just always performed for me. Last weekend, I attended a local event here near me where I swapped it for Op Agent just to feel like the difference, because I don't really want to play both because it's kind of a number. And it also like fights for the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
But Archivist has been something I've been like happy with, like as my fourth draw engine. Like obviously like the worst besides Esper, Remora, and Study, but
Yeah.
I still think experience beats theory crafting to some extent, and for me it like almost always performed, and for me at least 2, 3, or 4 cards or even more.
I want to make a bold statement here, and correct me if I'm wrong. Do you feel archivists perform in lower power pods versus higher power pods? More skilled pilots.
Oh no!
So that's tricky. That's actually a tricky card. So I noticed that usually, okay, this is like, I don't want to generalize, but lower powered players are usually playing less colors, and less colors mean less fetches. So that makes Archivist worse. So I felt like Archivist hasn't been that good in the Swiss, but in the top 16, you will face Brustal Trussius, you will face Tymna Crom. You will, like, usually you face at least three to 5 color decks. And then early Archivist just draws you cards. People will not, they will try to play around it by playing their duels and not the fetches, but they will still fetch, they will still tutor, they will just go for it because it's not an op agent. And I've been experiencing a very turbo draw engine meta the last, 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a fourth draw engine. I want to just slam early. I want to fall back on my mulligans because Najila doesn't really draw cards by her own, which is totally fine because she's already broken enough. But it just makes some hands more keepable. And also, one thing I also noticed about it is after a deluge, people tend to like dash, like some people like Sharky, the Tavish Crom player, also is like getting the Toxic Deluge early. And there have been several occasions where I flashed in Archivist post Deluge when I was suspecting it. I give them the draw for the fetch. I miss out on that. Then I get deluged, and then I just flash in the Archivist to get back into the game.
Nice.
So I'd say it gets better. So to answer your question, I think it gets better versus better players because they will tutor to find answers or do their thing and not dawdle around as much.
That's fair. Okay, I think I have the opposite experience with it. The lower colored decks normally are more linear to tutor in Yisan, Rocco. The Naya decks are more tutor heavy. So, but versus the Grexis deck, because I feel like there's more of a I have time to play around it kind of thing. I don't want to. Oh, I don't want to give them a card. Or
are you really playing around an Archivist? Like,
here's how I feel about it. You draw cards when you're losing, right?
That's fair.
And the combo turn when everyone is tutoring DT Vampiric to untap to win, that's when you're drawing cards. You might get lucky drawing interaction, but you're drawing cards while losing. And I'm like, I'm not here for that. But hey, maybe I should revisit the card. I'm close to having Carly in Shurikai. But that's not a real deck anyways, so who cares?
So I'd never advise to play it in a deck where the commander draws cards. Like for me, it doesn't go in any Tymna deck, not even in the 3-color Tymna decks. I don't think it's good enough. But I think there are some decks like Najida who are just hungry for any card. I wouldn't even play it in Kenrith because the Kenrith draws way better, right? But I think Najila is like a corner case.
Okay, so any deck that the commander doesn't draw a card, you want it. I think I like that. I like that statement.
Yeah.
So
other than that, has there been another hot tech? I've not been playing Bring to Light. Yeah, Bring to Light is in Najila, for many Najila lists, a one-card combo because it finds the Adnos, it also finds the Derevi.
Yeah.
You can usually cast it after a Dockside. Very good because you get the 5 colors. You want to get to 5 colors due to Najila activations, right? So it just naturally layers. But what I've been noticing in tournaments, it never performed for me because I've been seeing like Dranet every game, turn 1, turn 2. Also, like at Mox Masters, I've got hounded by the fucking Dreaded Magistrate. It has been there, like, there have been multiple Dreadeds on turn 1. It came, like, latest turn 2. So Dreaded has been everywhere, for me at least. And Bring to Light is, like, this was the one thing. The other thing is that Bring to Light is just 5-minute sorcery speed. At the Mox Masters, I got a window with a Deafening Silence out, where I found my window at the end step of one player, where everyone casted their non-creature spell, and I just could slam the Adnos, basically protected, because they were all locked out to the Deafening Silence. And you just can't do that with Bring to Light. That's like the other thing that's kind of sussing me out, at least for tournaments. In like casual cEDH games, I love that card. I would play it, but in Najila, like 5 mana is, like in the Turbo Najila, it's still a lot. And yeah, that's why I have been subbing it out for the tournaments.
What do you replace it with?
So I've been adding Grand Abolisher. I think that was what I put in, because most of the Gila lists don't play Grand Abolisher. And after I added it, I was very pleased. And I really don't want to cut Grand Abolisher ever again, because it just helps me to win through the draw engines I mentioned.
Yeah.
People are like turboing out the heuristics and the Remoras. Yeah, and Grand Abolisher just puts a stop to that. If you resolve the Abolisher, you just win, and it can just draw. There is a corner case. They have the Otawara, but it's like very unlikely.
We don't play around those cards.
Yeah, I don't play around that. And also, what's also kind of cute, I do run the Eldritch Evolution. And so if you put the Eldritch Evolution on the stack, the table starts to be talking. Is it Grimhireling? Is it the Revi? Is it just the Dockside? And if you have the Dockside in hand and they pass on it and you just get the Grand Abolisher, cast Dockside from hand and win, that's also kind of cute, because they don't know exactly what to expect from the EE.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What I did cut also, maybe highlight that really quick, is the Neo form. I currently play all the dorks, the good dorks, except Deathrite, because Deathrite has been a bit awkward for me due to the Revi. But I really want to revisit Deathrite, because after all, it's still a 1-mana Planeswalker, basically.
Yeah.
You caught the 1-mana Planeswalker, sir. No,
yeah. I really want to revisit it, but currently I'm playing like the Bird, Ignoble Hierarch, Ragavan, Tinderwall, and Esper. So those are like only my 1-drops. And with Neo form, I just many times I kept a turn 1 Najila hand, and then all I could do with the Neo form is either get rid of Najila for Grimhireling, but then don't have Najila, or make a warrior token into a Esper Sentinel or a Tinderwall, which also just never felt right.
Not enough value.
So I dropped it for now, but there's definitely, if you have the space for it, Neo form is definitely a very strong card.
Okay, so you're not believer in a few green dorks in your Najila build?
No, I'm not. I play as less as possible. I even cut the Noble Hierarch for a while, but I think I put it back in like one day before Mox Masters. Because I think I played one Talisman Mare, but I'm confident in like playing both Hierarchs. They're still pretty good, right? The Exalted is also relevant early on.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and like if you find the Eldritch Evolution, it's just all the 1-drops become the Revi if you want them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's where we want to be. Birds, both Hierarchs, and maybe the DRS, but I'm really unsure what to drop for the DRS. We'll see if it gets back in.
So my question to you is, aside from your own deck, what decks were you extremely impressed about in your both Swiss and semifinals matchups?
So let me check. I've been playing a lot of Magic since then. I want to talk about the 2 Tayam decks I faced.
Okay.
One in the Swiss, one in top 16. So they are 2 brothers, Pixel and Tuka.
Okay.
They're like the Tayam brothers from Finland.
Yeah.
And they play nothing else but Tayam, and they breath the deck and they play it exceptionally well. And it's a very, very, very skill-capped deck, and you have to be very vocal about what Tayam is doing all the time with the rest of the table, because if you have inexperienced players in your pot, Tayam will just win out of nowhere.
Yeah.
If you pass on the carrion feeder with the mental misstep in hand, you might as well just lose the game.
Yeah.
So, and I think it was the fourth or third Swiss game, the Tayam player was on the play and had a very strong start with land crypt Jeweled Lotus, so it was like turn two Tayam. I had a turn two Drenet, but I was going second, so I still played the Drenet, but Tayam was out, and from then on it was basically 3v1 to somehow like save the draw, because they just put in threats into play. It was like turn one, I think it was turn one aura shards, like something like that. Or there was aura shards. I kept a turn three Ristic, but that just got blown up. So it was very threatening. So Tayam really impressed me, because they just tried to overwhelm the board with their shenanigans. And if you're too late, they will just activate Tayam, get back their things. I tried to win one time with a snap on the Eidolon of Rhetoric. And what they did, they sacked the Eidolon in response to the snap. And then revived it with Tayam. So, and my spell for turn was snap, so I couldn't go. And I had the win in hand, basically ready to pop off. But that was very cute, and I kind of missed that. Like, I didn't see that coming. Obviously, like in hindsight, I should have anticipated that and never even like casted a snap. But that's how it was. Yeah. So that was a very impressive deck, and I also faced it in the top 16 match, and I believe like the post-match discussion took a toll. Like, that was very cool. On the play was Thracius Bruce, and they played a turn one Drenet to set the pace of the game. And I was actually fine with it, because I believe I kept a turn to Ristic. It was like Noble Hierarch and into Ristic Study. Mm-hmm. And then I also drew into my Drenet at some point and deployed that. And Tayam kept a turn one Weathered Wayfarer. And then they tutored up the command beacon and to get the Tayam in hand. So they very routinely played around Drenet. Mm-hmm. And like, they knew about the silver bullets for the deck and just played it very well. And post-game discussion, I believe they told me they should have casted a Rule of Law effect instead of keeping a Tayam activation up. Mm-hmm. And I already consoled that game. So if they deployed a Rule of Law, I weren't even able to win there. But so that was a very, very impressive deck.
Very cool.
Another one. I really loved what the five color Lurus deck I faced in the finals, because two of my friends talked about brewing it again, revisiting it with Lurus as the companion, and just as we talked about, I think he kind of steamrolled the event. He went like 17 points into the top 16. He won like almost every game. I think he won 3 and ID 2 of them. So played it pretty well.
The Jensen deck?
The Jensen Hermit Druid, Loris.
Yeah. I was very impressed by it. But on the other hand, in the finals, they were on the play and they mulled, I think, to 4 or even to 3. And they went like land, mana crypt, Imperial Seal. And I think if you can play Ristic Study, you just win the game. But they are playing Lurus as the companion, so they had to Imp Seal for Remora, and they didn't draw a card for Kalia, they didn't draw a card for Esper, they didn't draw a card for Najila. And in the end, the Remora got very expensive, and it just isn't quite the same. So I'm not sure if this deck will stick around, but it was very cool. So it was cool.
It was very cool. I also enjoyed casting it. It was pretty cool.
And it just missed the payoff, right? They did a culling ritual for 27, but just one demonic tutor or like one payoff, and they just win the whole tournament. So kind of unlucky, I guess.
Yeah. That was fun to watch Nick Foles GOAT climb the ladder, hang out in
I
the
told him
voice
like,
chat, and hear about him. Yeah.
yeah, I told him, why aren't you playing your Tesha list? I want to play your Tesha, not your 5-color Turbo Nasty. I want to win.
He's
But they brought a good deck.
too powerful. Teshar
True.
was keeping him down. He's too powerful now. Oh,
I
well.
was happy with that deck also. Just seeing Hermit Druid do Hermit Druid things.
Yeah.
Was once I thought Hermit Druid was dead and buried, and to see it do things with Acer Val and some cool things, I was pretty impressed and happy about it.
Yeah. So I respected the shit out of the Druid deck. That's why I like my mults weren't that great in the finals, and I had to keep I think it was a 5 or a 4, and I kept a Plateau Crypt Najila with Deadly Relic for either the Druid, right? I have to respect the Druid,
or the
or the
Kalia.
Kalia, or
Yeah.
like the fourth player was they played like Tymna Trussius mid-range Kinnan creature-based stuff because
yeah.
I was able to watch the top 16 game come to an end where he won, and like the board was E with Displacer Kit.
It is a stewing pot for Displacer Kitten.
Yeah, and that's why I felt like I need to keep this one lander because I need to keep the Deadly Relic going third, and sadly I never drew another land. That's how it is sometimes, right?
Yeah,
if you don't have
you
the
get
draw in the
punished
command zone,
sometimes. Yeah, you get punished sometimes. That was a bummer, but it was good. It was pretty good.
I even held on to the Deadly Relic when Kalia tried to attack the first time. I was able to talk with the table, and I had the Deadly Relic, but I was like beginning of combat. Okay, guys, we have to remove Kalia. I don't have anything for it now. Do you guys have, or do you have something? Right? I wasn't like really lying, but I really did not want to get rid of the Deadly Relic because he just put Kinnan into play, I think. And I was like, oh, I really don't want to exile Kalia here. And then he Assassin's Trophy Kalia and bought us a whole turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is an argument where I should have killed Kalia at the next beginning of attackers to make sure like he's not getting he's not coming back into the game.
Yeah.
Right.
But on the same times, I was hoping he has a Willis in hand to get rid of the Kinnan because Kinnan went like demonic to the pass, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we suspected the Basalt, which we were right about, because at the end of the game where we got Breach, Silence, Wield, they discarded the Basalt, so they already had the Basalt in hand. So I held back on the Deadly Relic, and then they put in Willis, they killed the Dorothy, and then the Kinnan, and then I exiled the Willis. But obviously they already drew a lot of cards.
Yeah.
They drew so many
the
cards.
damage was already done.
I still think I have to take the gamble there. If I exile Kalia, I do nothing on my turn. Kinnan untaps, slams the Basalt, and just wins.
Yeah.
Your greed was not incorrect, sorry.
That's what I'm at least that's what I'm telling myself.
Yeah, exactly, Sean's actually the official greed counselor at Eminence MTG. So if he says your greed was well placed, then it was well placed. I gotta go with my man on this one.
If it's not Basalt, if it's like an Ethnos or a Consult, I can hope the Jensen deck has interaction.
Yeah.
But interact with the Basalt isn't really that I wasn't comfortable in.
Yeah, depending on
artifacts are hit by, at least in the current cEDH counterspell suite, a fairly narrow amount of things.
Yeah.
And not even everyone's on offer. So
offer. Yeah. And do you really want to give the Kinnan player 2 treasures?
2 treasures?
Always.
Nope.
Absolutely, but I understand.
At all points, I would like to give the Kinnan player 2 treasures, yes. Instead of a Basalt Monolith.
True. Okay, that's fair. It's still 4 mana. It's still 4 mana for them, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you take your lumps, though, right? Like you just gotta pick your battles. But
agreed.
I'm interested to know, in your games, were there any decision points? Like, obviously you made it to the finals, so you played very well. But were there any decision points that you wish you could have replayed, could have done differently? Except for obviously maybe the thing that we just talked about.
Yeah.
So I think the snap, it was a bad snap. I should have anticipated Tayam doing the thing.
Mm.
And there was one thing I wasn't too proud of myself, but it kind of worked out. So when I played versus Tevish Crom, they used the Wish Claw, and my Najila just got removed, or they give it raked. And then they used the Wish Claw, and I was like, if you give it to me, I'm probably grabbing something to deal with my own. I need my Najila. They added like a bullshit Sharky basically, but
yeah,
I didn't really lie, but it like still felt. He gave me the Wish Claw, and I think I already had the vamp in hand, or I drew the vamp shortly afterwards, and I was like, cool, I can. And last chance, I was like, okay, double tutor, last chance, I can just hope to breach them in my extra turn.
Yeah.
So I think he should have given it to the Trustius Blues player who was going forward, who like basically had nothing going on, but wasn't like that vocal. He was like kind of a quiet guy.
Just didn't say anything.
Yeah, and it's just I don't like doing that, but I don't know. You want to win, right? So I was just, no, give it to me. I will probably just grab something to get back Najila, and kind of talk them into it. And it didn't feel that great, but I don't know. Sharky is a very skilled player, and I think if that was my window, other than that, they would have won on their next turn, 100%.
Take your feelings out of
afterwards.
Yeah, that's very big of you. Like, it is telling that when I asked you if there was something you wish you could have done better, it was better manners in your own play. Not like, oh, I could have done this to win from this angle, and I had to go the hard way. But instead, you say, hey, I was kind of rude here. Oops.
Yeah. What? It was like borderline. It was borderline. Yeah.
Get your feelings out of here, Memo. Don't be in your feelings. Come on now.
Gosh.
We're here to win money, sir. Come on now.
There's also one thing I wanted to talk about, because I've been making like 4 top 4s now in the last couple of months, and especially in the online tournaments, the seed, like in the command tower app or whatever, like the seed order in the top 16 and top 4 is they determine it by your record in the Swiss, right? So if you're good in the Swiss, you will start off your top 16 pot or your top 4 pot, right? And I, like in almost every last Swiss round, I end up intentional drawing, because like you sit there and you calculate, do we just ID here because everyone makes the top 16? Then you just try to gamble, how many pots will ID, how many pots will have to play it out. And I think in 3 out of the 4, or 2 of the 4, no, 3 out of the 4 top 16 cuts I made, I was like 16th. So I was like the very last person to enter.
Oh, so you go to the Swiss with bad placements.
Yeah. And then it's like, and I was just wondering if it's even worth, like, because I started several top 16 matches going fourth, several top 4 matches going fourth or third. So and it's still a very huge disadvantage to not go first or second. So I don't know. So I'm actually not sure if it's that good to ID if you know you will be fourth in the top 16 and top 4. I'm like actually hesitant to if I make another Swiss 5th round and I'd be so happy to maybe make top 16. I'm actually considering playing it out, because I don't know if I can make another top 16 going forth.
I think if you're in the top 8 going into the 5th round, you can maybe ID. But I think if you're going into those top 16 and want to go have good placement, play it.
Yeah.
I think you should play it, especially if you're confident you're making top 16.
Yeah.
If you just want to hopefully slide into it by, bubbling in, then take it how you can. But if you're confident that I'm going to make top 16, then definitely you play to the positioning of making it to top 16. Yeah. I think getting first and second is so big of an advantage in this game that you should definitely play for it.
So Memo, I'll ask you, And I mean, you're a tournament grinder, and clearly you have results. What do you think people should do when they're in these situations? You said you might have changed it. Do you think that?
So, yeah.
Yeah, do you think that
Sorry.
IDing is ever beneficial for a player, even if they're going to go fourth in every top 16 match or whatever?
So I think it is depending on if you ever made top 16 before. I made it now a couple of times, and now I'm like more comfortable and to know what I expect in top 16. I don't know, but what you guys think. What I felt like top 16 and top 4 matches are way slower. People are scared. They keep their first 7. They keep their second 7. They're scared to mull. They're like the first couple of turns. Often, like barely things are happening. So it's just a different environment to the Swiss. Like a good friend of mine, young Scipio, calls the Swiss round a jungle and says it's wild out there, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So top 16 and top 4 are like more meta decks. It's a bit slower, a bit more calm. So if you never experienced that, I'd say try to get in there however you can, however it works. But once you've been there a couple of times, maybe you just want to, like Ashani said, you just want to, if you have the confidence, just swap it up. I think it was the Mox Masters where I checked out the schedule, and there were the brackets, and there were like over 20 people on 10 points.
Yeah.
And if I went up to 12 or so. So I was very confident to making top 16.
Yeah.
Right.
And if I play it out and stuck at 11, and a bunch of the 10 pointers win, or also ID go up to 11, then it just, I don't know, then it gets very wonky. So
your breakers
it
get
depends
a
on the numbers. Yeah, it depends on the numbers. But if I, like Ashani said, like next time I will really think about it if I have the confidence to just
give it a real thing.
go through it. Because especially a deck like Najila just profits off of going first or second to just set the pace of the game. Like Jeweled Lotus, Najila is such a powerful tempo play. Carries you through the first couple of turns. People have to look for answers. Meanwhile, you can sculpt a very independent Najila win attempt.
Yeah.
You can do nothing and win the game.
Yep.
And isn't that what every tournament grinder wants to be doing at the end of the day? Nothing.
Just turn sideways.
Yeah, just show up and win. I mean,
for real.
Indeed.
Basically where I'd like to be at someday. I want to be like Memo. Show up and win. So
I'm trying.
Well, that's what I'm about to ask. Where are we gonna see you next? Are you gonna keep striving to get this W?
Yes, I will. I had another very disheartening top 4 loss last weekend. Because I didn't know how Sevin's reclamation worked, because I'm stupid. I knew, but I forgot. So for everyone at home, Sevin's, you get a copy from Sevin's if it gets cast from a graveyard.
And if
not if you flashback it. So
you played it with your breach, I guess?
Yeah, I had my breach out and Magda tutored at Trinisphere, and I didn't see the line that I could just Sevin's Dockset and LED with casting Sevin's, and I only escaped Sevin's. And what I did, I escaped Dockset first, and then I escaped like LED, and then basically, long story short, I was 3 cards in the graveyard short to find Brain Freeze and just power through the Trinisphere. I oversaw that because in my mind, I thought Sevin's only copies when it gets flashback, because that's how you usually do it.
Yeah.
But it clearly states when it gets cards from a graveyard.
Yeah.
So that was a learning lesson. So I will keep grinding.
Read the card, you know the card, sir. Read the card.
The thing is, though, now you'll never make that mistake again.
Yes, I hope. Hopefully, let's hope that. Yeah, I will stick around. I'm still hungry. I want the title. Sadly, I can't make the next Mox Masters because it's the birthday of my daughter. But that's how life goes sometimes.
Wow, priorities.
I'm just happy that.
Love to see it.
Yes, I'm just happy that those events are monthly. Hopefully in the future as well. So I'll be back hopefully at April, and I'll come back even stronger.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Looking forward to seeing you win one in April.
Yeah, I'm trying my best.
I have faith. And you know what? In the intervening time, I'll continuously harass you to get better and better. Iron
Thank you
sharpens
so much.
iron, buddy. Iron sharpens iron.
Yes, I'm all for it.
We'll get it worked out. Ashani, you have any further questions for the goat in our presence right now?
No, just keep doing you, keep grinding, keep winning.
Thank you so much.
I have
I
two
will.
more questions for you. And they are as follows. Number 1, what is something outside of tournament magic that you are really excited about or passionate about right now?
I'm a social worker. I work with young juveniles who get in trouble with the law, and I really love that job. Like, because the criminal juveniles are usually just making a mistake. They're not like inherent criminal.
Yeah.
They're just like limit testing and puberty, and you just have to guide them through the wild jungle that's called youth. And I really love that because they're very grateful and learning hungry, and there's a lot of room for improvement, just like in cEDH. And that's what I love my job, and that's something I'm really passionate about.
Awesome.
Mensch, the community does not deserve you.
It does. It's fine.
You just
the community
gotta.
gives me also.
Yeah.
People like to focus on the bad things, but there's a lot of good things in this community.
You just gotta bring that energy to your interactions with the cEDH community now, and
Yes.
understand people are all.
It's really just a value nos, isn't it?
It's just a value nos. At the end of the day, it's a value.
That's a value nos also.
Nos
Good
is the
one.
best counterspell.
Best counterspell in the format. So
Yep.
okay, now I have a question that kind of flies off of this because you've opened up a new avenue of thinking in my head. When you're playing in these tournament games, are you able to ferret out lies due to your experience in your job? Do you think that you're able to understand people's table talk more strictly?
I think it's hard because I play mostly to online tournaments and I can't read faces. But last weekend was actually my first in-person event because, like, here in Bavaria, that's not really a thing yet. And being able to read people's faces helped me a lot. Probably I'm also easier to read, but especially in online tournaments, I think only relying on the voice and not on the hands, it's just very difficult to suss them out. But in person, it's definitely easier. You just kind of notice when people have interaction and try to jump priority and things. That's like not that easy online, I think.
Gotcha.
Do you think online tournaments should have web face cams? For that reason? Like some
I
poker?
actually thought about it. There are some players like Alex who are always streaming their face, and Jacoby also did that, and I really liked it. On the one hand, I think that would be a good thing. On the other hand, I would need another setup because I'm filming usually with my iPhone, and I'm not sure if my MacBook gets face cam and like you need OBS, then you need spell table, you need the camera. So I think most of the people would need a very good computer to get it all going.
Fair enough.
Does make the technology investment a little bit
tougher, but I think it would be. Yeah, I'd like it. I always enjoy if people have the face cam up.
Nice.
Okay, awesome.
And then finally, the last question, the most important question I'll ever ask you, Memo. What is the sexiest soup?
Oh, I will go. Oh, I have to. I only know the German word. Let me quickly translate. There is a lovely soup. Is it a lens? Do you know what a lens is? We call them lens soup. Let me see. Give me a second. It's a very delicious. Okay, I think I got it. Lentil soup.
Lentils, yep.
Lentil?
Okay.
Dentist. I love that soup, especially when my mother makes it.
Wow.
Can't get enough of it.
That's a good answer
It's
right there.
healthy and it tastes good.
When my mother makes it is a very good addition to that answer. Memo, thank you so much for joining us this week. Gang, everyone say thank you to Memo in the chat. Memo, people can find you on the internet. Where again? Yep. What's your Twitter?
My Twitter is @_memo_4302 or just on Discord memo #4302.
Excellent.
Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
My pleasure. And then finally, Fun City 2 is in less than 20 days. It's the 24th through the 26th of this month. We hope to see everyone there. And until next week, have a blessed evening. Don't drink and drive. Spay and neuter your pets, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.